Welcome to the ACF VSU podcast, How's Your Traffic? Dive into the heart of college life with us as we explore the crossroads of faith, spirituality, and personal growth. Whether you're steadfast in your beliefs, just dipping your toes into spirituality, or anywhere in between, join us for real stories, honest questions, and open discussions. Let's navigate these transformative years together with curiosity as our compass.
What up, y'all? This is Day.
This is it.
Guys,
We're in shock.
Every episode, Michael is just gonna be so impressed, and it gets better.
Yeah.
So I'm Michael. I'm not Michael. I am Day.
I'm Michael.
I'm Camille.
Yeah, and we have a guest speaker
Pastor Don is in the building. He just killed the intro, which is why we're speechless.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Let me tell you why, guys.
Yeah,
because,
backstory.
See, Don, I am the former college student here, and I got it in 2 or 3 tries.
3 tries.
But you're the former college student. So,
Yeah, for quite a few years ago.
yeah.
Quite a few years.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah, and Michael took a while, so that's
It
why
took
we're
me like
laughing
20
because you
minutes.
just read it and it sounded great.
Yeah. Sounded
So,
perfect.
yeah.
First time.
Well, thank you. I'll take that.
Yes, y'all.
I'll go with it.
We're back in the building.
Yeah.
We're back in your ears. Here we are.
We are. And so what we're going to do today, folks, is we wanted to have Dawn here because, for you listeners who are at VSU or anywhere else, as you know, we have a club. And ACF is that club. Michael, what does ACF stand for? Remind us here.
ACF stands for Adventist Christian Fellowship.
Okay. Yeah. And it's at VSU.
It's here. We represent it here. We're Adventists and we love the fellowship.
Yeah. Very good.
And we love the Lord.
Hey, that was from the current president.
I'm the
of
current
club.
president.
So Pastor Don here is in charge of overseeing different ACF clubs, chapters in different universities, right, Don?
Correct.
And so I thought it'd be a great idea for you to kind of tell us what this is all about. And if there's a listener out there that's kind of thinking about joining, why would it even be a good idea to join?
Right. Great question. I oversee right now currently 13 public university campuses, kind of coordinating the ACF ministry on about 13 different campuses, the entire state of Georgia, as well as eastern 1/3 of Tennessee, the Cumberland region of Tennessee.
Okay.
And our church is divided into conferences, and we happen to be in the Georgia Cumberland Conference, and that's how we got the Cumberland out of that. It's the Cumberland region of Tennessee.
All right.
So that's the Georgia Cumberland Conference. And so for the Georgia Cumberland Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, I am the director for Adventist Christian Fellowship on all these campuses. So the question, why should you do ACF? Why should you be part of an ACF club?
Yeah. So we have this, Don, we got to catch you up here. Before you even answer that question, there's a couple of things here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But this was just to
I'll
give you
hold on that
a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
But number one, we got to think about Alex.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex is our 4th chair, which today will be our 5th chair because you're taking the 4th chair.
Okay.
Alex represents our listeners.
Okay.
And we just want to assume that they don't know everything and anything
Sure.
about who we are. But secondly, we want to ask the question, how's your traffic? And we won't ask you first. How's your traffic, Camille? How's your traffic?
Ooh, the traffic. What day is it? It's Monday. Is it Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. It feels like it should be Wednesday, but it's good. I'm a little weary, but it's good. I'm off to a good start this week. Things are flowing nicely. I don't know, the last pod I was a little stressed out, but we're doing better. So yeah, it's pretty
You had
good
a
over here.
class?
Today?
No, the last podcast?
I had a lot of life.
A lot of life.
Yeah. So it's good. Things are flowing. I feel better today.
All
So
right.
yeah.
Bounce that question.
Michael, how's your
Yeah.
traffic?
How's my traffic?
Voice crack.
Yeah, the voice crack is crazy. It's going.
Oh no. Same as last week.
Same as last week. Very cluttered. Things are just coming to a head. Yeah, it's just doing a lot of research right now. like working with beta fish, and we're doing like running experiments, and we're reaching our like deadline, and we're just doing a lot of work this week, and just had a lot of exams this week, so pray for me. So had one this morning, have one at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and you know, we're surviving, but you know, we're trying to stay afloat. So
hanging there.
yeah,
May is coming.
yeah.
May is coming.
Graduation is coming.
May is coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Bounce the question.
Day.
Oh, okay.
traffic.
Here we go. So right now, my traffic is a little bit packed. We're in the middle of an event happening at the church, and so we, we're helping a lot with that. And today it was kind of crazy. This event requires audio-visual. And our person who does that is sick, so I kind of had to step in and get on FaceTime and learn on the fly.
Good job.
How to use
that was
all
all
that.
on the fly?
I don't know if it was on the fly. It took like an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, we're just trying to make it out here, just like you guys. But I don't know. I sense for students, you probably remember this, Dawn. It's always like, ugh.
Yeah, I feel like such a Debbie Downer.
What is it about students that it's just like, because there's traffic in our lives. Well, actually, how's your traffic?
Right. Yes.
Well, my traffic came through Atlanta today. in the most literal sense of the word, it was quite trafficy. No, this week I just am kicking off a 4-week run to visit all of the universities that I oversee.
Okay.
So Valdosta State is the first one on this spring tour.
Yes.
Okay.
Every spring I do a tour of all the different university campuses. So VSU is my first one. And tomorrow I'll be at Georgia Southern in Statesboro. And on Wednesday I'll be at Augusta University.
Okay.
And then on Thursday evening I'll meet with UGA in Athens. And then I'm going to go home and collapse for the weekend. and then next week I'm out for the Cumberland region. So I'll be at Tennessee Tech in Cookeville. I'll go to UTK, University of Tennessee, Knoxville on Tuesday night. Wednesday I'll be at East Tennessee State University up by Johnson City. It's up by the Virginia border. So as far away from here in our conference as you can go.
Wow.
And then I've got to rush back down to UTC the next night on Thursday night. Then I'll go home and collapse again. And so then my third week I'll be doing all the Atlanta schools. I've got Kennesaw State, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, and Emory.
Okay.
And so
Y'all,
I'm trying to
Pastor Don is
restart.
committed.
Yeah, we're doing it.
A lot of traffic.
A lot of
That's
traffic.
a lot of traffic.
I'll be in a lot of traffic. Literally.
Yes.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah, matter of fact, in 4 weeks I'll do close to 3,000 miles.
Wow.
And God bless the car.
So yes,
Amen.
Yeah.
148,000 is still going.
Hey, this metaphor can really expand. So we're talking about miles here. You're talking about the car and the wear and tear of the vehicle.
And the wear and tear on the body.
The body. Yeah.
The person sitting in the vehicle.
I mean, that's what traffic is all about.
Yeah.
So what is it about? I'm really curious because, I'm the former college student, and I've just knighted you, the former college student.
I'm like former. I'm way
And
college.
there's traffic in our lives, Don. I mean,
Yep.
you got some literal traffic going on, but there's something about just that college experience that it seems, even in your expressions here. Let me try to be descriptive. When you guys talk about your traffic, it seems like a little overwhelming. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
I remember college is a long time ago for me. But when I was in college, I double majored. And I worked 3 jobs because I was one of 6 kids in our family, and my dad said, we can only help you this much, and the rest is going to be up to you. So we didn't call it traffic back then. We called it insane, but that's pretty much the same thing, I think. But how's your sanity? I think is what we used to ask. How's your traffic? I like that. It sounds smoother. But anyway, no. I remember it well. There were many nights that I ended up with 3 and 4 hours of sleep and doing a lot of Dr. Pepper. That was my thing back then.
Dr. Pepper.
It was what the doctor ordered for me. Anyway.
Mercy.
Why do you guys feel like this is your world, like college and your responsibilities in college? And this is going to lead up to that first question, but I want to hear from them here. Why does it feel so important? I mean, I'm not saying it's not important, but why does it feel so important?
Ooh.
You want to go tackle that one first?
Why does it feel so important? Well, it's expensive. So that adds a lot, but also there's this weight of, okay, this is setting me up for the rest of my life. So there you kind of go into some days. I don't think about this every day, but just like realizing the weight of, okay, my future kind of depends on my success here. And then, like you said, it's like a college world, so it's just not classes. It's life. It's you're maturing as an adult. You're trying to navigate friendships and eating or cooking or a new apartment and just like growing up and trying to live a balanced life with school and like ACF, trying to learn how to run an org, and it's just, it can feel like a lot. And the work, it's not necessarily like a 9 to 5. You know, you go to class and then you take as much time as you need to do your work, and then your extracurriculars on top of that. So it's just kind of feels like a snowball, I guess, or like you're just perpetual motion. Yeah. But it's also fun. It's fun, and like I'm young, so I have the energy to do it. Yeah. So, yeah.
So you don't collapse, is what you're saying.
Not all the time. Yeah, not all the time. Yeah, I definitely I love college. I mean, this is year 5. But yeah, I can do this, but it's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Okay, so can you remind me of the question again? I'm sorry.
So why is this so important? Like, or why does it feel so important?
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna try not to say what Camille said because she said it so so well.
It's your experience.
Yeah, it's my experience. I think a big portion of it is expectations. Why I feel so important because and just have high expectations for yourself. And for me, like I expect things to go a certain way with college, and I have certain how should I say it, goals. And it's just those expectations within my courses is just, it stacks up and it can get really hard.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it important. And that's what keeps me keep me going. So especially because like it builds a foundation for what I want to do in the future, which is optometry. And so like those expectations kind of like funneled right over to that. And you just feel the pressure of like adulthood and making big decisions and like actually, I think what is it? The admissions I was in a meeting and admissions guy was saying like, welcome to the next 4 years of your entire life, like it's 4 years, but it's like literally like your entire. So pretty much your entire life. So it's like that weight of importance, and that's just very high, I feel like. So
that's interesting. Don, I think you can relate with this. I think as we grow and get older, you get wiser. And
hopefully,
yeah. And not to say that, because everything what you guys have said, I was really impressed. I mean, I see a lot of wisdom in you guys, but some things, and especially when you guys have talked about expectations and all of that, some things, what seemed important before like in this side of life, you start to realize maybe they weren't that important.
Yeah.
And there are more important things
Indeed.
that we often sacrifice for what we think is important. Which is why, Don, this is a perfect segue here to you. I love working with this age group here. Again, I'm the former college student, but I got a bit of mileage, so we'll just leave it at that. But I love working with you guys because it allows me an opportunity to mentor and almost ease your mind and say, like, it's gonna be okay. It's like it's gonna be all right, and it is important, but not to like lose your health over it or anything like that. Good. But back to this question right now, let's think of Alex, right? So I'm a freshman, I have expectations. I'm away from home, finally free. I've graduated. I'm going to navigate through this next level of education, which has its expectations of its own. But now I got to navigate through life. And this is really the beginning of it. And, for a lot of, freshmen or anything, they're probably realizing, after this, I'm probably not going to go home again. And some will, and that's okay. But, after this, I got to, the thing that everybody says you got to do, got to find a place, got to find your person and all of that. Why is ACF even relevant, Don? Like, why would I even want to join this here?
It's a great question. And I think if I were going to talk to Alex, I would say, ask the question, why? Because a lot of life goes unchallenged. We just accept it as is. In other words, you say, well, why should you go to school? Well, to get educated. Well, why do you need to get educated? So that you can function in society. Well, why do you need to function in society? Well, to earn a good living. Well, why do you need to earn a good living? So I can survive well. But if you continue to ask the why question, it begins to sharpen your focus. And so what we often do is we leave a lot of things on the table. So you've got to get good grades. Why? Well, here's the reality. Okay, I'll probably get in trouble with college professors on this. But I'm old enough that I'm getting ready to retire, so I don't care.
I tell you, these things seem less and less important the more and more.
No, here's reality. Unless you have certain majors, grades are not nearly as important as you think they are. But here's the problem. Most college students that I know, and I know quite a few, if they're not striving for grades, they're saying, well, then college is all about fun, and they run the other direction, and they go to the party crowd, and basically flunk out of college, whatever. And so I'm not saying to run that far. What I'm saying is, when you look at your grades, recognize that grades are not as important in the long haul as being a well-rounded person. So when you start to think about that, I'll tell you a phrase that changed my life when I was double majoring, and I had 5 semesters straight that I was 20 plus hours.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Plus working two jobs.
2 jobs, yeah.
I had 3, but when I got to those 20 plus hours, I dropped back to 2. And I was sleeping an average of 4 hours a night. Not what I would advise. Because I was trying to get everything put together and get good grades. Why?
You didn't ask yourself, I bet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I went to one of my advisors, actually for my communications major, my major advisor there, and I said, I think I'm going to have to drop out of communications, or at least drop it back to a minor, so I can really focus on where I believe God is calling me, and that is to teach the Bible to young people. That was the express calling that I had. So I was taking a religion major as well in theology. And so I went to him and I said, I think I'm going to have to drop back. And he said, let me tell you a little phrase that nobody tells you in college. C's get degrees.
Amen.
That changed my life. I said, what do you mean C's get degrees? He said, C's get degrees. You don't have to have an A and a B in every class. C's will still get you that degree. You just can't get below a C.
Hey, here at the How Is Your Traffic podcast, we're going to drop value, guys. So there needs to be, you guys need to tune in because these are golden nuggets here. Golden nuggets. Don, you know, if I could piggyback off of what you're saying here, and again, these are the former college students here.
That's right. That's
you
why
know,
we don't care as much.
we don't care. Yeah. I have never, and again, I take this with a grain of salt, folks, because I guess it depends on your degree, and you know,
Yeah.
we don't want doctors.
Exactly. If you're going to be a neurosurgeon, I want you to get good English.
Yeah.
I want you to
So,
get the highest grades you can get.
Did not get this.
That's why he said in the major you're going into,
Yeah.
communications,
Yeah.
a C, get a degree.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is nobody in my entire professional career or whatever, and different I've had different jobs and whatnot. You know, they ask, hey, so do you have a bachelor's or do you have a degree? They'll ask that, but not a single time, Don. Not a single time has anyone ever asked to see my GPA,
No.
to even ask. You know, I took minors in different or like special emphasis, you know, and I thought then, I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
They don't even ask about it.
No.
I think one of the things about, and this is just my perspective here, is if you finish college, it just says something about you,
You're resilient. You've made it.
and you can complete something.
Yes. Now, that comes back to the question you asked, why ACF?
Right.
And thank you for asking that question. College life is hard.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yes.
I don't want to diminish that at all. You don't need to make it harder by putting undue pressure. Now, your parents may put undue pressure saying, we're paying all this money, you better get good grades. But again, the why question comes into play. And I'm not saying you don't strive for good grades. Don't misunderstand me. But I'm saying if your health is suffering, if everything else is suffering, understand that to get a C every now and then is not going to kill you. You'll be okay. And so take the pressure off. But so while getting an education is the primary goal, you're also doing a bunch of other stuff outside of school. The real goal to me of college is to become educated in a well-rounded way so that you can interact with your discipline and be competent, but so you can also deal with other people. There's nothing worse than a teacher, a would-be teacher who gets straight A's but doesn't know how to deal with kids. I've had a few college professors that way. They're amazingly brilliant, but they don't know how to deal with people. I've had pastors that way, amazingly brilliant, and they can preach intricate sermons, but they can't talk to you straight up. You've seen the doctor, brilliant surgeons, but their bedside manner is horrible. It doesn't matter what you go into. You need to work with people. And what people forget is once you're out of college, you're no longer in the educational business as far as getting more and more educated. You're going to become educated. And the more farther you go through life will educate you more. No doubt. But you're going to be in the people business no matter what arena you're going to be in. If you're in sales, you're in the people business. If you're in teaching, you're in the people business. If you're in pastoring, you're definitely in the people business, not the theology business. And many pastors forget that. They try to be great theologians, and they waste a lot of great theology on people who could care less. They want to know, why would this work for me? Why would I want what you're selling? Likewise, if you're into the sciences, being a physician, optometrist, whatever, you're in the people business. I want to go to somebody who's very competent in their field, but more than that understands me. You've gone into places where you say, man, I would go back there even if it's really, really bad. because that person understood me and they made me feel important. Likewise, there might be a really skilled person. You go, I'm never going back there.
Yep.
Good night. That guy didn't understand me at all. He just talked over the top of me the entire time, and I couldn't stand it. So, one of the things about ACF, back to the question, I know where I'm going with this, guys. Stay with me, okay? I know it sounds like I'm taking a long detour, and I am. But one of the things that employers look for when considering who to hire is how you spend your extracurricular time. They want people that have good grades, yes, but more important than that, they want people that that are able to relate to other people well. So, for instance, I sit on a hiring board sometimes when we look at young pastors. And very seldom is it the straight A student we're looking for. We're looking for that student that is competent, B's, A's, B's, C's, got the spectrum there, but who has spent their time developing their people skills, who has spent their time learning how to listen to people, who has gotten involved in extracurricular activities and developed leadership skills, who has practiced those things while they're in college so they don't have to make the costly mistakes when they get out of college. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So ACF covers a lot of the bases that employers are looking for outside the classroom. For example, service to the community, leadership development, even while you're a student, being someone who is morally and ethically sound. They're looking for a person who knows what they believe and they can utilize those beliefs to make the best decisions possible, not only in their personal life, but in how they make decisions for the company. So that's important. And ACF has all the building blocks you need to help you develop the best version of yourself. It's chock full of opportunities to do that, to develop the leadership skills, to try your ideas with your group and make a difference on your campus. It might be difficult, but if you can learn to lead while you're a student and the stakes are low, you'll have a huge head start on the rest of the field. So once you're employed, you'll rocket through the ranks by showing your ability to lead, because leadership development requires resilience.
Yeah.
And that's not a word we talk about much anymore.
Yeah.
We try something that's hard, we back off and we quit. Leadership development in yourself, if you're going to develop yourself as a leader, you've got to... Can you stand back on your own 2 feet? Can you make things happen, even in spite of the difficulties? Because, I mean, let's face it, that's what makes a good movie, right?
True.
Yeah.
The storyline is somebody who's knocked down, and they go, okay, in spite of all these odds, I'm going to get up and keep going. Where did they learn that? Where can you learn that? Well, you can learn it in college, and ACF is a great place to do that. Every industry is looking for leaders. I don't care what you go into, they're looking for people who can lead other people. It doesn't matter what field, what discipline, everybody is looking for people. And if you've got leadership experience already coming out of college, you can rocket through the ranks and rise head and shoulders above others without having to push yourself. There's too many kids that come out trying to sell themselves because of their grades, because they have this long pedigree of all the different honors they've won, but they still haven't learned to deal with people.
So you're telling me then ACF can offer this?
Yes,
It could even go on a resume.
exactly.
I second that.
As a matter of fact,
I second that. Yeah.
we've got former ACF students that have used it on their resume, who've been president of an ACF club, or vice president, or secretary, or treasurer, or whatever, and they've used that to help them gain a job. And I've had their future would-be employees call me as a reference. I understand so-and-so was your president at such and such a chapter. Yes. How did they do?
Wow, that's great.
And if I tell them, man, they did wonderful, they were great, they were always on time with their reports, when we needed stuff from them, they instantly responded. Or if I tell them, I guess they did okay.
Yeah.
And so what you realize, and it doesn't matter whether you're an ACF or any other student org, the fact is, those can be great for your resume, or they can also be damaging.
Yeah.
So if you commit to something, make sure you fulfill your commitment. If you don't commit to, if you're not going to fulfill it, don't commit to it, because what that does is it becomes a black mark on your record.
Yeah.
So you commit to a student org and you say, yeah, I'm going to be in there, and you may have good intentions, but then you might be ADD like I was when I was in college. I had it back before it was popular. They didn't even have drugs for it back then.
Oh.
When I was a kid, my dad had a Bible verse for it.
Oh my.
The Bible verse was, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him.
Mercy.
That was the medicine right there.
That was my dad's medicine.
Prescription.
That's before there, back in the day when there was no drugs for ADD. But anyway, I digress. See, that's that ADD right there. You see what
Well,
happened?
that's why we need those guys to make A's.
Right.
To make the drugs for
Exactly.
ADD.
Exactly. So, but if you're going to commit to a student org, make sure you fulfill your commitment well, because if you put it on your resume, understand that employers will check that.
Yeah.
I have them check with me regularly on different ACF students that we've had, leaders and organizations. They go, oh, you're the regional director for this. Yes. Well, how do they relate to your office? And there are some that have been stellar. And I've said, man, matter of fact, there's a couple of nurses right now in Atlanta working for the WellStar system that got their jobs because one lady said, man, your recommendation just seals the deal for me. They were so good when they were in ACF. I said, man, if you can get a hold of them, they're quality people. Go for it. So understand that ACF and any student org can help you do that. But ACF especially, because we're working on spiritual principles that help to develop the entire person, not just one side person. So the idea for me in college is to become the most well-rounded individual you can be, to round out your education, your studying, round it out with being a leader, development, those kind of things. And I think that you'll become that full package, that hireable person.
And a little bit of fun?
We've been known to have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
little
It's
bit.
happened where sometimes you have an ACF event and spontaneously just fun erupts. But, or sometimes we go at it for fun.
Now I got a shameless plug here.
Okay.
Because of this whole conversation. We do have opportunities here. So at our church, it's connected to an academy for grades K through 8.
Okay.
And we need tutors.
Oh, yeah.
And I've spoken with the principal, and she said it would be a great idea. And I know that college students need, correct me if I'm wrong, do you guys need community service hours?
Indeed.
Yeah.
We do.
course.
And it counts here at ACF, so for sure, check it out.
Oh,
and
man.
we'll open some opportunities.
See, that's a
again,
gold mine right there.
Yeah.
When you got community service stuff and you got a place that's already ready to plug you in,
Yeah.
that's gold.
Yeah, it is.
That's an easy community service fulfillment right there,
Right there.
baby. That's good
And you're
stuff.
dealing with people, like you were saying.
and you're learning how to deal with kids. If you're going to be a teacher, that's a gold mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, let's hear from so we're the former, what are the
Old, go just call
no,
it.
they are the,
The current,
if we're the former, they're the current. Yeah, thank you.
Current, yes.
That's the word I was looking for. The
Current
current
students.
college students. How you guys vibing with everything that we've talked about here?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, y'all, Pastor Don is always dropping the
Wisdom,
nuggets.
right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Wisdom.
All
That's why
Every
we had
time.
to get him. That's why we had to get him, guys.
Yeah, so
Treasure
a lot to
trove.
take in, but
It's
definitely
called dropping dimes, or is that old school?
Wait,
Benjamin.
what is it called? Dropping on.
Oh,
What?
It's called dropping dimes or quarters or something like
It's
that.
something like that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm dropping
Think about it
Benjamins.
right now, but
Yeah, I'm dropping Benjamin. That's what I'm doing right now.
Ben's. All right.
Back
You
on
know, we
topic.
always welcome Ben.
Shoot, now I lost my train of thought. Where were we?
You said Pastor Don was always doing good. I heard
Yeah,
that part.
doing all the
Yeah.
great things. Yeah, I think college is definitely a place where there are those opportunities to dig in and learn how to deal with people. And I think a lot of us undervalue that opportunity and don't really realize that we need those skills, especially I think there's a deficit in our age group right now in valuing that, like just like how we respond to people. If we're angry or annoyed or something, there's not as much value put on being professional or things like that. So it's really important that we take these opportunities to work that out.
And I mean, you guys have been part of this club for quite a bit, right? I mean,
I think we've been in operation 2 or 3 years.
Three years.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I mean, maybe you can branch out in this way here. You're still here.
Yeah.
What did you think about the club when you first joined? And in terms of what we've been talking about, has that been true, or is Don just speaking theory here? And what has made you stick around?
Okay, so when I joined the club, like we started like the club as from the ground up.
Back in the olden days.
Back in the olden days, it was it was a good way to build like community and connecting with people. Like that's something that's definitely needed to be a well-rounded like college student. Can't be like stuck in just academics, but college is also about forming those connections and making those connections with other people and learning how to deal with people. So what keeps me is like that, forming bonds with those on campus, as well as people in like ACF and stuff. And also talking about being well-rounded, this is definitely a good way to learn skills of like leadership, community building, this spiritual aspects of your life, and just being well-rounded in general, because that's a really important thing, especially if you're wanting to go to like professional school or graduate school, because like when Pastor Don, you were talking about like being well-rounded and how important that is, like when I was it helped so much. It helped so much. I know from experience, because when I was what do you call it, I was being interviewed and applying for optometry school. There's a huge section where it's like extracurriculars, volunteering, and in my interviews, like we talked about grades for like maybe 10%, and then like 90% of my interviews were talking about how well-rounded you are as a person and figure out who you are as a person. And I used ACF, and ACF gave me a lot of opportunities to actually be able to to talk about. And like even one interview, we didn't even talk about grades. We just like literally talked about like who you are as a person, like what are your values, what did you learn as a student, and how well-rounded are you with like your community and how you deal with people around you. So it's very, very important, and ACF has helped so much with that. And I feel like that's like honestly helped me with the colleges that I was able to get into. So
there it is. And
you got in.
I got in.
Ooh, bless the Lord.
I got accepted. So it helped a lot.
Yeah. And you're on your way out, right?
Yeah, on my way out.
With a couple of more tests, right? So
one more test, yeah.
That's
Two
actually
more.
a good time to wrap it up. My man's got the test tomorrow morning. Thank you so much, Don, for coming out and sharing of your time and your wisdom with us as the former college student. So you can bring someone else so that we can add the third former. That's our episode for today.
Well, thanks for journeying with us today on How's Your Traffic, an ACF VSU podcast. Remember, this is a space where all questions are welcome and exploration is encouraged. We're here to share, support, and learn together. So if our stories resonated with you, or if you're just beginning to question and seek, know that you are not alone. Stay curious, stay open, and let's keep the conversation going. See you next episode.
Bye, y'all.
Well, I won't.
All right, man. Go pass that test.
Bye, y'all.